Now, from covering coronavirus to getting it, a Georgia reporter has just been released from the hospital after 11 days fighting the virus. Lindsay Goff is a reporter at CNN affiliate WTOC in Savannah. She believes she caught coronavirus in June while on assignment. I had a chance to speak with her about her experience.
I was covering the RBC Heritage on Hilton Head Island, the return of pro golf. It was the second week. I turned 27 on June 19th. On June 20th, I was out on the golf course working, and I believe that is where I actually got coronavirus initially. Once I tested positive, which I'll get to that in a second, one of the people I interviewed had actually reached out and said they tested positive, and they were from hotspot Charleston. That night, I started feeling really fatigued. I thought it was because of a long, crazy work week. I had 3 days off. I slept most of those 3 days. So on the 23rd, I started feeling the flu-like symptoms, pretty much every coronavirus symptom that there is, except for the fever and shortness of breath. I never had a fever until after I was in the hospital. So on June 26th, I was finally able to get tested. I tried to get tested on the 25th, and they ran out of tests. So the 26th, I was tested for coronavirus. I got my results back on the 30th as positive. I started to feel better after the 2 weeks. And then my flu-like symptoms came back with a very, 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 very severe abdomen pain. So I let that go for 2 days. It didn't get better. So on July 9th, I went to the emergency room with the abdomen pain, and they kept me for 11 days. They tested me again on that day, and I tested positive again for coronavirus. And they, after running numerous tests, they told me that my appendix had ruptured and it needed to come out immediately. I got out of surgery the next morning. They told me that my appendix was the size of a baseball. They also removed part of my colon, and they told me that coronavirus had literally, quote, been a lightning strike to my body. My body just wasn't able to fight it all off. And they said that they actually tried to go in like laparoscopically with 2 small incisions, and I wound up with 3, one pretty big one and 15 staples. They said that they had trouble stitching me up. My body was just kind of ravaged fighting off the coronavirus.
What an ordeal. That's incredible, horrible. I'm so glad, once again, that you're doing okay.
Yeah,
Did they connect? Is there a direct connection between the ruptured appendix and coronavirus? Were they able to determine that?
They think it was just the stress of my body trying to fight off the coronavirus. And the OR team actually told me that I was one of several gastrointestinal patients that they had seen that also had coronavirus. So they think that there's some kind of connection. It's just the fact that we don't know enough about this disease at this point.
A lightning strike on your system. That is remarkable, vivid imagery here. You're 27, right? You're 27. This isn't really supposed to happen to you. We keep on being told it doesn't affect young people as badly. So what do young people need to know?
Well, you know, I am a reporter, and I was even guilty of thinking, and I've covered this story for months, that if I get coronavirus, I'll be sick for 2 weeks. It'll be bad. You know, I'll feel terrible, but then I'll get over it. I'll rebound and it'll be fine. First of all, this is not the flu. I've had the flu. This is way worse than the flu, even before my appendix ruptured. And just the fact that it's affected my body in ways that I didn't even think. You know, I had a cough and stuff like that, which I expected, but I never expected the abdomen pains and the fatigue and all of this stuff. And I mean, I've been sick since the day I turned 27. It's been over a month now. I really still don't feel good. I don't really have a timeline to return to work still at this point. So it's definitely something to take seriously. And like I said, even with me covering the story, knowing how serious it was, even I was guilty of thinking of, okay, you know, if I get it, I'm down 2 weeks and I'll be okay. And I am okay, fortunately. But I don't know how this will affect me, you know, for the rest of my life. They told me that when I left the hospital, my lungs sounded good for a COVID patient, but they are diminished. My chest x-rays, they said, looked okay. So I don't have a ton of lung damage, fortunately. but I am missing part of my colon now. And, you know, I could have stuff pop up later on. They just don't know at this point.
Lindsay Goff, I can't imagine what you've been through. You impress me as a very strong person and a journalist, which makes you even stronger. So I know you'll push through this. Happy birthday. I know it hasn't been great so far, but it will get better. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.